So hi to all. In today's video, I'm going to cover the remaining topics of the second unit, online anonymity. So in the previous videos, I have talked about what is anonymity, what is anonymous networks, various networks we have gone through, that is Tor networks, I2P, which is Internet Invisible Project Network, Freenet and Darknet. Now, to introduce anonymity in other areas such as operating system, file sharing, proxy servers, connection leak testing, and secure search engine. In all these areas also anonymity can be introduced. We'll be seeing one by one. Firstly, anonymous OS. So, Tails is the operating system developed by the professionals for introducing anonymity. So most operating system implementations are not configured to be robust, secure, or anonymous. If you take Microsoft or your Linux, but Tail is especially an anonymous operating system which has been configured so that our real identity is not revealed at all at any cost. So we have to configure them in a very secured way. However, by design, they are not built with consideration of users who seek anonymity and security. But after developing the Tail OS, they have achieved this one in a very high way. So Tail operating system is considered the best anonymous operating system which is currently available in the market. And for the record, this is the only operating system that Edward Snowden used to help stay anonymous during the initial NSA spying leaks. So Tail operating system is used for communicating privately with confidence in extremely hostile environments, especially in military zones and other areas it will be used. Tail stands for the amnesic incognito life system. We all would have heard about what is incognito, right? We would have also explored this in our laptop in the browser, incognito mode, right? So privately we will be working upon it. The same is used in the Tail operating system also. So it is basically a Linux based operating system built to provide the maximum security and anonymity. Obviously, when I say security, it is almost provided by the Linux platform only. That is the reason the base is Linux based one, and it is a portable live operating system. It can be launched even from the USB stick also. And Tail runs using the host machine RAM. Very important is that it operating system does not get loaded into the hard disk at all. It only loads into the RAM, right? So it will not copy any files into the machine's hard disk. So only RAM. And if you could see that RAM means it is volatile, that means once you switch off the system, it gets erased. How does Tail achieve this anonymity, right? By using the Tor network. That is the reason I've already covered Tor network in the previous videos. So if an application tries to connect to the internet directly, the connection is automatically blocked. So Tail leaves no traces on the host machine's hard disk. Upon shutdown, Tail will delete all user files unless explicitly asked not to. Because Tail, again I'm emphasizing here, Tail uses only the RAM, not the hard disk. Tail also comes with several built-in applications pre-configured with security as the background. For example, web browser, instant messaging client, email clients, Office suite, and image and sound editors. All this comes as a package along with the Tail operating system. It also uses a cryptographic tools such as looks for disk encryption for Linux only, right? And HTTP is everywhere, OpenPGP, and OTR for secure internet messaging chat. IM stands for Internet Messaging Chat for your Chat GPT or for your WhatsApp for that applications. Tail does not protect you against hardware-based attacks. We have to be very careful that suppose we are using our Tail operating system via USB, right? And USB is hardware-based, and if that USB is corrupted or a malware is there inside the USB, then your Tail will not protect your system at all, via which it can enter into the system and it can harm the system. So we have to encrypt everything before sending it through the Tor. Tail does not clear a digital file's metadata by default. So if you are using Tail and live in an extremely hostile environment, we have to take extra care, right? And delete all the files and be cautious. The next is about secure file sharing. So in this also how anonymity is introduced. Let us see, there are two secure file sharing methods are there. One is onion share, another is file. We'll see one by one. In case of Onion Share, it is a tool based on the Tor anonymous network dedicated to sharing files across the internet in complete anonymity. So I have introduced Tor network and then Tor browser and then Tor operating system. Now I want to securely share a file in an anonymous way. One by one, I'm just introducing. So anonymity can be introduced in all parts of the process involved in a computer. So it allows to your secure file sharing. This Onion Share allows to share files of any size anonymously using the Tor hidden network. So it works by launching a temporary website similar to the Tor Onion service that hosts our shared files. So it will then produce an unguessable URL, right? So we have to open a temporary website and which will automatically produce an unguessable URL so the person who are corresponding with an access can download. So unique is that the shared files will not leave the computer and get uploaded to some location online. It will be there in our system only. Instead, they will remain in our system and our correspondent will download them directly using the Tor browser. So it will not get uploaded into any other system. That guarantee is given through this Onion Share. But we have to bear in mind that we must leave the Tor browser and Onion Share programs open until the transactions, because when it is all the files are available in our system and someone wants to download from our system only via a guessable URL. In that case, until the transaction ends, we have to leave our Tor browser and Onion Share programs open. If they both are closed, then it will not be downloaded by the end user. As this process is involved because our computer is now playing the role of a hosting server. It's like a server now where a file gets downloaded remotely. So when the recipient receives the file successfully, then the Onion Share will automatically stop the sharing process. And we must be able to stop the sharing automatically. That option also will be enabled. An Onion Share is not vulnerable to sniffing attacks. We have to be careful about it because the connections between the Tor hidden services and the Tor browser are end-to-end encrypted. Next method is the FileT. So it is a new sharing provider that offers an anonymous and volatile file sharing service. So according to this privacy policy, FileT does not store any information about its users. So that is where anonymity is introduced, right? So it does not catch any contents of the files shared or does not know about the information about any of the users who is sharing as well as who is downloading. Both are invisible. And it stores only limited information about each file, the name, size, and the MIME type, right? And in the processing service, volatile memory, RAM only it gets stored, as I informed already. So the IP address of the user also is not recorded anywhere. So encrypt any file you want to share through the service. That's a major application of FileT. So if you see the difference between the secure sharing, the previous Onion Share and this one, it does not store information about the user. That is guaranteed. When compared to your Onion Share, it is 100% guaranteed here. The next one is virtual private network. Obviously, I have given already a gist about this in the previous video. When I talked about it, I just gave a keyword that secure tunnel. Definitely a secure tunnel will be established between two or more devices. The meaning for that is one entry and one exit only. No one extra person, an intruder, a man in the middle attack, or any other eavesdropping cannot be happening at all. That is the reason VPN is highly secure. So we had an extra layer of security and privacy to private and public networks such as Wi-Fi connections and the internet. Extra layer will be there. Extra VPN server also will be added so that all the entries and exits happen within that VPN tunnel only. Enterprises use VPN services regularly to secure the sensitive and business-related traffic. I gave an example that even Amazon and Netflix are using these services. Only through VPN, all the contents is delivered to the customer. So using this, an organization can secure private network traffic over an unsecure network such as the internet. This VPN gives the user an anonymous IP address, making them appear as if in another location so that they can avoid censorship. But many of the this crime or hackers, criminals use this in a very negative way because they want to erase their identity or not to reveal their identity, make them invisible. For that purpose also they are using it. So this is the pictorial representation of the virtual private network, and user is there. So in the top part, it is general internet service provider ISP is there, via which a communication happens. In the down part, through a VPN tunnel, a communication happens. So by which we can able to see that highly secure VPN connection is highly secure, and the price for VPN per month is $5 to $10 only. Right? So what is the criteria now to select the best VPN? Because we have so many VPNs available in the market. How to choose that one is, do not subscribe to VPN service providers that are based in one of the following countries, especially United States, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Denmark, France, Netherlands, Norway, Belgium, Germany, Italy, Spain, Israel, Sweden, and of course countries such as Russia, China, Iran, and all Arab states. Do not use at all. It's not secure, right? Only hackers or criminals use the VPNs provided from these countries. The best secure providers are based in Swaziland and it follows the jurisdiction. So the VPN provider must support the open VPN software which is available for the end user to use it out, and this can be audited by anyone to make sure that it is clean and does not contain any backdoors. So it is preferable that we have its own private DNS service to avoid leaking users' DNS request. So that based on these criteria, we have to choose the VPN. And also it continues, it should have integrated DNS leak protection. Remember, DNS stands for domain name service, where domain name system, where the DNS provides the URL, right? When we host a server, and the DNS is the place where we get the URL name, right? Because server has only IP address, the IP address is converted into URL only through DNS. So the DNS leak protection technology should be integrated into the VPN. Then only we have to purchase it. And the VPN provider must separate the internet traffic according to the protocol used. VPN client software must support the ability to disconnect the internet from the computer if the VPN fails for any reason. And it is better to support multiple devices at the same time. All these are the criteria to select the best VPN. Furthermore, it should accept anonymous payments. So whenever we use VPN, we can also buy through bitcoins, gift cards, debit cards, and cash if possible, without showing any IDs. That facility should also be available. It should not require any details or a setup or username or a password. That should be enough. Not any other details, many details to set up and all. It should not be there. Just a username and password is more than enough to use the VPN, and it should not store any information about the users. This policy is known as zero knowledge policy. That means VPN should not carry forward any information about the users. It should be totally anonymous. That we have to remember that we are in the unit 2 which connects with anonymity. So everywhere anonymous is the major criteria. Based on that only we are using all the softwares. And we should always read the VPN's provider's privacy policy, especially the service level agreement, SLA, right? Very, very important before using. It's not only in VPN, in all the case of software usages, we have to read the service level agreement and then use the software. It will be a lengthy document, but still we have to go through. Do not use a free VPN service for mission critical tasks online. Do not use it at all. And if your ultimate purpose is anonymity and possible deniability, use the Tor browser itself instead of VPN. That's why I always told that Tor is the best. When compared to all other networks, always Tor is the best. In order to use your VPN also, Tor is required. At every background of any, if you say anonymity, Tor is the minimum requirement. So using Tor with VPN will hide the fact that we are using Tor to surf online itself. That's one more piece of information I would like to convey. The next is about proxy servers. So a proxy or a proxy server. So best example is the previous days. Nowadays people are not doing it, whereas in the previous days students used to give a proxy attendance for others, right? The word came from that only. The proxy or a proxy server is basically another computer that serves as a hub through which internet requests are processed. So most proxies nowadays are web proxies only. So it will fetch the required sources and send them to the computer. So its major job is to facilitate access to content on the internet and provide anonymity. That means your IP, whoever is the user, that IP will be not revealed at all. It will be concealed via the proxy server and to the web server. And similarly, web server's IP will not be revealed to the user. In both the ways, your proxy server becomes an intermediate, plays an intermediate role. So using a proxy server is not necessary and should be replaced by VPN provider. That's a piece of information. And numerous free proxy servers are available online. But if you see the red box, I have already told you that all the red boxes not to be tried. That means it may connect or end up with illegal activity. So a free proxy usually shows advertisements. And when we click on that advertisements, a piece of software or a malware will come into our system. And our system by then onwards will be controlled by the hacker. So we should not give any ways for a hacker to enter into our system. So we have to be cautious. So using a free proxies always end up with such activities. And in addition, most free proxies are not secure enough to trust to process and communicate to critical data. So credit card details, account passwords, if and all you are using the same system, then proxy servers are not advisable. The next one is connection leak testing. So for this we have to check for DNS leak. So in the previous slide also I told the DNS leak has to be checked out. So let us see in deep what is that one. So the domain name system is one of the fundamental building blocks of the internet, and it is utilized when you visit a website. As I told you, website URL is basically IP address, right? The IP address is converted into URL only through domain name system. The famous domain name system providers are GoDaddy. Right. So if you want to visit a website, send an email or have an instant messaging conversation. Instant messaging is using your WhatsApp, Facebook, ChatGPT, whatever. For these purposes, we require a domain name system. Right? And it can be considered that internet's equivalent of a phone book. As we have our phone book, right? Previously, we had a telephone, and for the telephone book was there, right? All names with the numbers like that. This also is a internet phone book, right, where all the server IPs along with their URLs will be captured. So the system maintains a directory of domain names and translates them into IP addresses. So most internet users worldwide connect via this default DNS server assigned by their internet service provider. Which means that these ISPs can monitor and record the user online activities. Always our ISP will log our online activity for a certain amount of time. Always this log details will be available. In case of any discrepancy, or if the crime department or the digital forensic department requires the ISP, they have to provide it out. So when using a VPN to encrypt our traffic, the VPN software should not use the default DNS server, because when we use it, so it may resolve website names to avoid revealing the web browsing history. It may reveal it also. To avoid that, we should not use the default DNS server. A DNS leak occurs anytime a DNS request is sent on your behalf to a DNS server, right? A DNS request is sent, you are not requesting at all. Whereas on your behalf, for example, a small sensor device is available in our home, and that is without our permission. It was triggered to send a request from the home to a DNS server. That becomes a traffic, right? For example, the frequency of sending a message from the sensor device to that DNS server, frequently it happens every 1 second, every 2 seconds it happens. That means traffic will be increased. So that is what is basically a DNS leak. So this happens most often when your DNS requests are routed outside the encrypted VPN tunnel. So we have to ensure that to stop this one, we have to introduce a VPN tunnel for the DNS server. So these unencrypted requests will then be forwarded to your ISP's DNS servers, allowing them to potentially monitor and log the complete web browsing history, even though you are using a VPN. Still VPN is there. If there is a DNS leak is there, right? In that case, still our web browsing history and our other details will be monitored. There's a chance for that because of this unencrypted request. Okay, so how to fix this DNS leak? There are a few methods are there. One is use a VPN with DNS leak protection software that should be installed. Stop DNS leak in Windows 8 and 10. Mostly don't use, because we have to explicitly stop DNS leak in Windows 8 and 10. versions of Microsoft operating system. And disable web RTC, where real time communication happens, right? In that case, we have to disable it out. During that time only, any update can happen in the DNS server. Because of that, a leak possible. And finally, fix the IPv6. We know that all of us are right away using IPv4 versions, right? Whereas IPv6 is the version where we have more number of devices can be connected at a time. So as of now, till date, since many of us are using IPv4, a VPN tunnel is not available for the IPv6 versions. That is the reason we have to explicitly fix the IPv6 DNS leak. And the last one is your secure search engine. Right? So we all know that all of us are using the Gmail, right? Our Gmail, and we are Gmail is the predominant Google search engine we are using. I mean, via which, because Google is the search engine, via Google we are all connected to Gmail, and Gmail, all our activities are recorded. For example, if we take a photo, all that is captured in the via our Gmail. It goes through the software, piece of software called Google Photos. We all very well know about it, and even it says that it will be creating a video for us. Everything is captured, right? So Google is basically a privacy nightmare for the users. It is because it is capturing all our activities. For example, if the location is on, it will capture our timeline, right? Whatever we search, whatever YouTube activities we see through, everything can be monitored. Our browsing habits, our online activities, our voice search, our image search, our location, wherever we are traveling, everything is monitored, right? But still, we can able to control it. How it can be done is, we have to configure. We have to go to the myaccount.google.com, where activity controls is there, and try to disable whatever not required. For example, timeline not required, we can disable it. YouTube activities not to be monitored, we can disable it, because someone hacks it out, right? In those cases, it will be vulnerable. And mostly nowadays, students are using this, Gmail, registering in multiple devices. They also register them, their Gmail, in other students' phone, and so many devices they are getting registered. They are not aware. Because of this, what all issues may happen, they are not aware at all, right? Suppose if they are registering their Gmail in other, for example, their friend's phone, and the student is using this phone, and all the my account, everything is enabled. For example, timeline is enabled, image search is enabled, video search is enabled. In that case, all his activities can be monitored by his friend, because he has registered his Gmail in his phone also. Very lavishly, all the students are doing this one. This has to be avoided. Privacy is always privacy only. You have to have your privacy within yourself. So we have to be careful that all our Gmail activities are not should be monitored by anyone else. It should be only with ourselves, right? So it's better to disable everything and keep. And second, we all very well know that account.microsoft.com, where also we should, what to be enabled, what to be disabled. We have to personalize that, and then enable certain things. In case of parents, if they give their laptop or their phones to their children, they usually, there's a Microsoft app is there via which they can monitor their children. For that purpose, they would have enabled. In all other cases, we have to be aware that what to be enabled, what not to be enabled. And also we have various anonymous search engines apart from this Google or Gmail or your Microsoft. So they should not record the IP address of users. The major criteria is, if we use apart from Google any other search engine, they should not record our IP address of any of the customer or the users, and they should not record the browser fingerprint or plant cookies on the user's computer. Definitely, they should use the SSL to deliver the data to users, and they should also allow access via the Tor anonymous network. And they should, as I mentioned already, they should have a zero knowledge about the user. No online activities of them, no IP address of the user. Nothing should be uh, captured by the search engine. That is what is the policy. Whereas your Gmail or the Google captures everything. But they have given an option. If we want, we can disable that. We only have to be aware and then disable it out. So let us see some anonymous search engines. There is startpage.com is there, and the duckduckgo.com is there, search.disconnect.me, metaget.d, slash enable. All these are anonymous search engines. Many of us doesn't even know about it, right? Such search engines, we can use it out. Especially, I had seen latest. I've seen a reel in one of the Facebook that one person comes to the shop and asks them, "My phone has been hacked. My browser, whatever I type, everything's been hacked." Then the person immediately says that you disconnect the latest browser, whatever you have, and use the DuckDuckGo.com browser, because this browser is totally, conceals everything, our identity, and will not reveal at all. So in such cases, we can use this also. So finally, if you could see, I have covered anonymity in all the ways. For example, what is anonymity? I have covered, and then anonymity via the network, Tor network, Tor browser, right? Free network, dark network, I2P, and anonymous operating system. Anonymously, how to securely share the files, and then how to be anonymous in terms of even using your Gmail or even using your uh, Microsoft. In all the cases, how anonymity can be ensured. And finally, apart from search engines such as Google and other, we also have other search engines, right? The four of them I've listed out. Use it and then explore and see by yourself. Thank you.